Thai students have kicked off a massive anti-government protest in Bangkok. The rally is expected to draw as many as 50,000 protesters. You're looking at live pictures. Protesters there are currently moving from Thammasat University to Sanam Luang field in front of the Royal Palace. Our correspondents May Wong and Saksith Sayasombat are closely following developments on the ground right now. Let's speak to May first. She's at the Royal Park in front of the palace. May, demonstrators are strongly advocating for their demands. Do we expect today's rally to be peaceful?
What you see right now is just a tip of the iceberg because people are still trickling in. And people not just from Bangkok here in the capital of Thailand, but people from all parts of the country, for example, from northeastern part to the southern part, they're all culminating here in Bangkok just to make sure that their protests and their demands are heard. We're talking about 3 demands that the people are asking for, and hence this sign as well that they're constantly rising in terms of showing the fact that it's not just defiance to the government, but also the fact that they have 3 demands to make. One demand is to change the constitution, which they deem undemocratic. 2 is for the Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha and his government to step down. And 3, for the state to stop intimidating and harassing the opposition activists. In addition to the 3 demands, there is a +1. And the +1 is a reformation of the monarchy that the people are seeking. They say that they are not wanting to topple the monarchy because this is extremely sacred in the country. And also remember that the lèse majesté law is still in existence. But more importantly, they're asking for reforms to be made sure that the monarchy comes under the constitution. One of the demands to change the constitution is to reduce the budget that's allocated to the royal palace. And yet another is to abolish and repeal the lèse majesté law so that it will not be criminalizing anyone who is speaking out against the monarchy. Now, all of these demands have been consistent by the protesters for a couple of weeks, a couple of months ago. And this today is just going to be the height of all these calls for the government to hear them and for the government to take specific actions. Now remember also, Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha has said recently that he acknowledges the people's disgruntled complaints, he acknowledges their grievances, and also he is hearing them. And he has called on them to say that, more importantly, it's to keep this country united and to make sure that everyone is perhaps helping the country develop at the same pace and also on a united front. And he also reminded the people that gathering here, the protest, could also jeopardize the healthcare problem that the country and the world is facing, that of COVID-19. Because the point is, with COVID-19 still ongoing, the people here are gathered, they are wearing masks, but Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha has used that as somewhat of a factor to caution people against such large gatherings. Now, this place that I'm in right now, Sanam Luang, is extremely poignant because it's right in front of the Grand Palace, and behind me is Thammasat University, where it was the official site that the protesters have gathered, but now they have started to move over to this Royal Plaza because there are just way too many people and they're filling up the school in there. More importantly as well, I just want to point out that I've spoken to a number of people, different segments of the society, from the young to the very old, they have all gathered here today. They have said one thing: they want to be part of this historic change. They want to be able to see what comes out of it. And in fact, I spoke to a mother bringing a 5-year-old kid, and she says that she wants to bring her daughter over here to experience what democracy is all about and to see how this country is going to move forward, because this 5-year-old is going to take over the country because it is the future of Thailand. So we have to see what is going to come out of this, what the government is going to do if the government says they're hearing the people. And more importantly also, just take a listen to what some of the protesters said to me earlier.
We have to spread our recommend for the social change, social structure change for our Thai society.
If the government listen to us and we say louder, then maybe bring some change to the Thai politics. Today they have high chance that government will do the violence on Thai people, so we are here to prevent it from happening.
rain or shine, the people are determined to be out here, as you can see. So exactly what kind of change can we expect? We'll have to find out and wait on.
Thank you, May. Let's check in with Saksith Sayasombat now, who is at Thammasat University for us. Saksith, the protesters have articulated some very serious demands there, and protests have rocked the country for quite a few months now. What kind of impact, though, are we seeing these protests have on Thailand?
Well, we're just still at the very beginning of this protest movement, as the last few people are going out of Thammasat University onto Sanam Luang, where the big stage is now being set up, where we've just seen May Wong to speak to, and also May Wong has already touched upon that. Many of these demands are very vast, and they call for very vast changes of the political order, not only for the government, not only for the demilitarization of politics, where the military always had or has a very big influence on Thai politics, but also for the monarchy to be under a constitutional monarchy, as this country proclaims to be. So these are very many demands that we are seeing right now, and it's going to take a long time until these changes are being implemented. But however, and as we have said before, the Less Majest law has forbidden or is curtailing open criticism and open discussion in inquiry of the monarchy. But as one thing that we have seen over the past few years is that the seed of discussion, the seed of debate over the monarchy has been planted, and more people are coming out to talk more openly about the kind of country, the kind of Thailand, how they want to be governed by, and by the people, and what kind of people they want to be governed by.
Saksith, thank you very much for that update. Saksith and May there with those updates from a rather wet